presentation is why information technology inspires but cannot deliver knowledge management. And I'm Wenjie, and our team members are Xiaotian and Yizhi. This is our agenda, and we will introduce this paper following these three parts step by step. First, I want to take an example of British Petroleum to give you a brief introduction. A few years ago, BP learned a key technology for deep-sea oil exploration. It seems to be a technological issue, and there's no need for me to mention here. But why I want to mention it because of 2 points. First, rather than conduct own basic research, BP learns the technology from its partners, Shell Oil Company. And second, BP does that not by building a large electronic library, but to spread the knowledge through the whole organization by connecting people to think together. So, the ability to leverage knowledge is its key to competitive strategy and the guaranteed success of its business. Then let's see the background. With the development of the world, information technology has led people to dream a new world for knowledge management. Based on electronic media such as email and powerful internet, many companies take it for granted that people can document their insights, join each other's work, and create a web of global knowledge. Through this way, they believe their staff will work with great effectiveness and efficiency. But has it come true? However, in real life, information technology has inspired dispersion, but itself cannot bring dispersion into being. Why not? Time for building relationship is one of these factors. Virtual teams always need to build a relationship before they can effectively collaborate electronically. And the organizational culture and work habits are the other two difficulties, which also need to take time to make them to effectively work together. And but the most significant mistake people always make is to use the concept and the tools of information management to design knowledge management systems to define what information to capture and determine access. So, which is totally wrong. So what we should always keep in mind is leveraging knowledge involves a unique combination of human and information systems. But unfortunately, people always focus on information systems and don't pay attention to human factors. Then about the characteristics of knowledge. To begin with, knowledge is a human act. It's the very human ability to use that information. Through a lot of professional practice, people can turn information into solutions and use thinking to make information useful. Solutions and thinking are the meaning of knowledge, and without them, knowledge is just information. And what's more, knowledge is the residue of thinking. Actually, knowledge comes from experience, but it not means it's raw experience. It's the experience informed by theory and the facts and the understanding. Only by adding these values, then people can reflect on and make sense of and test against others' experience, so that knowledge can be understood as the result of thinking. And in addition, knowledge is created in the present moment, and the knowledge resides in our body. There are 3 stages for the procedure of knowledge creation. First, we got insights from past, and the second, to think about the present. And the third one, which is the most important, to mediate it by the present, just according to the current situation, because context is always changing, right? So knowing is the living act. Then next, knowledge belongs to communities, and it's between the ears of the individual. It's really true, and we can't learn it on our own. And the knowledge flows from professional communities from one generation to the next. Through this way, different facts and ideas, also technology can be carried out, but Besides that, more important is that we can learn a discipline and we can learn a way of thinking. Because sometimes we should not only know the symptom, but we also need to know the root cause of it, right? So if we do that, then we will benefit from it for our long-term development.
And before I start the fifth one, I'll ask you a question. Where do you think most community knowledge lie in? Is that in textbooks or articles, individual file cabinets, or people's minds? These are the four typical answers that you may come to first. Maybe you notice that all these are or can be written. However, these are a lot of unwritten knowledge that contain community knowledge, such as unwritten work routines, specialized language, and so on. So we get the fifth characteristics of knowledge, that is community knowledge is circulated through communities in many ways. And these unwritten community knowledges can be stories that are told at conference. People see each other thinking as they solve problems together, or people observe and discuss informal work routines in everyday course of work. So the answers to the question can be from the practitioner's perspective. Only a small percentage is written. Most is informal, undocumented practice and artifacts. I'll ask you the second question. Please reflect on how you learn new things. I believe most of you, it is most likely that you give me the answer. Most of the time, I learn by comparing the new idea, fact, or tool to those I already know. Is that like this? So we get the sixth one. New knowledge is created at the boundaries of old. It does not come from thinking within the ordinary bounds of a discipline. It comes from the thinking at the edge of current practice. And the author explained it like this. New ideas emerge in the conflict of perspective, the clash of disciplines, the murky waters at the edge of the science. So it's on the boundaries of old knowledge. But we notice here that technology doesn't quite work in this way. So it's the recap of what we compare knowledge to information, and we should make it clear that the heart of knowledge is a community in discourse, sharing ideas. And the next part, we may dig a little bit deeper, that I believe as a student in knowledge management program, there's a phrase that you are very familiar with, that is leverage knowledge. So what's this phrase implicate? What's the key point behind this? Is that documenting procedures, link people electronically, or just to create a website? Maybe you are not surprising that I can say by all these approaches, it's not enough to get people to think together. So next part, we will introduce to you the implications for leveraging knowledge from 8 perspectives. But before that, I should let you know that to focus on the community that owns it and the people who use it, not the knowledge itself. The first implication is we need to develop existing communities. The key word here is natural. Natural community, but not a formalized one. It usually involves finding, nurturing, and supporting the communities. Use a light signal as an example. The learning community in a light signal is supported by giving staff time to attend community meetings, funding community events, creating community bulletins, and developing a directory of employee skills. And help elicit the 3 key points here, that tap communities' natural energy to share knowledge, build on the process and system they already use, and enhance the role of natural leader. And the second implication is that we need to focus on the knowledge important to both the business and the people. People naturally seek help and share their insights and build knowledge on those areas they care about. So in Shell, most learning communities are formed around disciplines like geology, and the topics are chosen for people need to think about to do with their work and find intrinsically interesting and skillful. And the third implication is we need to create forums for thinking and sharing knowledge. To paraphrase Henry Adams, facts without thinking are dead, and thinking without facts is pure fantasy. So forums, no matter it is face-to-face or electronic ones, it needs to spark collaborative thinking, not just make static presentation of ideas. We learn from Shell again, learning community in Shell that always composed most of geologists, and they are encouraged to bring paper maps and analysis. And during the meetings, they discuss problems and ideas, and the community coordinators encourage people make their assumptions visible. And while discussing issues, someone will type notes on laptop, and thus key points are captured. So we can see from this learning community process, it includes both information and thinking, human context, and IT.
Okay, and the next implication for leveraging knowledge is that to leverage knowledge, we should let the community decide what to share and how to share. Many companies attempted to create an organizational-wide system that everyone can access and make use of the knowledge in it. However, the reality is the communities vary greatly in the kind of information they need, and the further away you get from communities' actual needs, the less useful the information is. So because the information is meaningful only to the community that use it, it should be that the communities have the right to choose what kind of information they need to share and in which way they can share it. And next is that to leverage knowledge, we need to create a community support structure. One of the important parts of every community is the community coordinator, who can help keep the community alive, connect the members with each other, helps the community to focus on important issues and bring new ideas to the community. And besides, we can also use information technology to support communities with organizing, maintaining, and distributing information and knowledge. However, this comes to the theme we want to emphasize in this paper is that technology itself is far from enough for leverage knowledge. It should be combined with human factors, and this is another critical role of the community coordinator, who can use the knowledge of the discipline to judge what is useful and important by summarizing, combining, contrasting, and integrating. And we will take an example of IBM. In IBM, there's a system called Intellectual Competency System. It is a knowledge base which everyone can access and contribute. However, the company soon discovered that members in the company didn't want to use this system because the large amount of redundant entries. So the company decided to choose members from each important community to form a new group to organize and evaluate every entry, to weeding out redundancies and highlight what is useful. And this combination of technology and the human factors help make the information much easier to find and make knowledge sharing more effective. And next, to leverage knowledge, we need to use the community's term for organizing knowledge. To organize knowledge, one of the effective tools is the taxonomy. However, the taxonomy should reflect the natural way discipline members think about the field. To put it simply, it's just like what Professor just mentioned in the last lecture, is that knowledge should be presented in a way which people can better appreciate it. For example, for geologists, they always think in pictures and work with maps. So they may want their website for organized knowledge to be a kind of visual picture. And for chemists, they work with the chemical elements, so they may want their website to be a kind of periodic table. And next is to leverage knowledge, we need to integrate community into the natural flow of work.
members need to frequently contact with each other to find common problems, to see values of each other's ideas, and to build trust. However, when developing learning communities, they always focus on the official tasks such as developing standards and organize information. What the communities really need is time to share immediate work problems and help each other, just as if they were sitting close to each other and can communicate and help each other. Therefore, community members need a large amount of time to talk, to communicate, whether on phone, on email, face-to-face, or through internet. This make the problems don't have to wait until the official meeting of the community. They can solve it as long as they appeared, and knowledge sharing and collaboration becomes more effective. And the last implication is that to leverage knowledge, we need to treat culture changes as a community issue. It's true that learning communities can develop and thrive in a knowledge-sharing, supportive environment. However, they also help to cultivate and nurture a knowledge-sharing culture. Community members may connect with each other, such as they will ask trusted peers for advice, to teach newcomers, to listen to discussions between experts. In the course of this kind of communication and interaction, people develop new ideas, and new practice are adopted and adopted and spread, and the knowledge sharing culture is gradually nurtured. After looking at the characteristics of knowledge and how we can leverage knowledge with building of communities, what this paper wants to emphasize is that in the era of knowledge revolution, technology itself is not enough for effectively leverage and make use of knowledge. What needed is the combination of human factor and technology. And that's all for our presentation.